Hello friends, myself Dr. Deepak, and today we are going to discuss about the middle ear. So the middle ear, it is also known as a tympanum or tympanic cavity. It is lies within the petrous temporal bone. This whole cavity and the structure related with that all are lies within the petrous part of temporal bone. Then the shape of this middle ear cavity. So this middle ear cavity, it is cube in the shape, but its medial wall and its lateral wall both are concave in the shape, and that's why all other walls of these cubes are become smaller than these two walls. Okay, so let me see in the diagram. Here it is a internal ear, the cochlea, the vestibule, the semicircular canal, okay, and here is a middle ear cavity. You can see here it is a external auditory meatus, and here is a tympanic membrane. Okay, so here this cavity, it is a middle ear cavity. It is a external ear. Okay, so this middle ear cavity, you can see here is both the surfaces. It is its lateral surface and it is its medial surface. These both surfaces are concave in the shape, and that's why the other surfaces of this cavity, they are become much smaller than these two walls. Okay, then the parts of the middle ear cavity. So the middle ear cavity, it can be divided into two parts. Okay, the tympanic cavity proper, the part adjacent to this tympanic membrane, it is known as a tympanic cavity proper, and part superior to this tympanic membrane, this area, it is known as a epitympanic recess. What? This area, it is known as a epitympanic recess. Okay, then the communications of this cavity. So the middle ear cavity is communicate anteriorly to the nasopharynx through the auditory tube. This is a auditory tube, and through this auditory tube, it is anteriorly communicate with the nasopharyngeal area. Okay, whereas on posterior side, it is communicate with the mastoid antrum and the mastoid air cell. Okay, on the anterior side, it is communicate with the nasopharynx, whereas on posterior side, it is communicate with the mastoid antrum and mastoid air cells. Okay, then what are the contents of this cavity? Which structures are lies within this cavity? So the structures are, there are some bones. The bones are the malleus, then the incus and the stapedius, the steps, then the ligaments of this ear ossicle. These are the ear ossicle, malleus, incus and steps, and related ligaments are present here. Then muscles. So which muscles are present? Two muscles are here, the tensor tympani and the stapedius. These two muscles are present here. Then nerves. So the tympanic branch of ninth cranial nerve means glossopharyngeal, the branch of glossopharyngeal, and the superior and inferior cortico-tympanic nerves. Superior and inferior cortico-tympanic nerves, they are the branches of sympathetic plexus which is around the internal carotid artery. Okay, so these two nerves are also present in this middle ear cavity. And arteries. So which arteries are present here? Mainly the tympanic branch of internal carotid artery it is supplying the middle ear cavity. There are also other branches we will discuss all these branches later. Okay, so these are the contents of the middle ear. Okay, now let me see the walls of the middle ear cavity. So as we have discussed, it is a cube shaped. Okay, so it has a 6 surfaces: the superior surface, inferior surface, anterior surface, posterior surface, medial surface on the internal ear side, and lateral surface on the tympanic membrane side. So these are the 6 surfaces of the middle ear cavity. So let me draw. First we draw the cube. Okay, Okay, so this is a middle ear cavity. Okay, so it is its medial surface, this is anterior surface, posterior surface, superior surface, and the inferior surface. Okay, so it is a view from the lateral aspect of the ear. Means if we draw the ear, it is a external auditory meatus and it is a tympanic membrane and it is our cube shaped cavity. Okay, so if I will become so tiny that I can go through the external acoustic meatus, okay, and I am walking here on the medial side. Now I stands here and looking into this middle ear cavity. Okay, so in this view from the lateral side, the cavity is look alike. Okay, so the surface is which is on the most posterior side, okay, like here. So it is the medial, then it is the anterior, then it is a posterior surface. Okay, then on the upper aspect there is a superior and inferior surfaces are here. Okay, so this is a medial surface, superior surface, inferior surface, anterior surface, and the posterior surface. Now which structures are present on these surfaces? So first of all, the superior surface. The superior surface, it is also known as a tegmental surface. It is formed by the squamous temporal bone and it is separate the middle ear cavity from the middle cranial fossa. Okay, so how it is possible? Let me see. If we draw first, it is a calvaria, it is a forehead, they are the eyes, then the nose, mouth. Okay, so here is the cranial cavity, anterior cranial fossa, middle cranial fossa, and the posterior cranial fossa. So here is our beautiful ear is present here. Okay, and this is the middle ear. Sorry, it is the external acoustic meatus, and this is the middle ear cavity. So superior to the middle ear cavity, there is a temporal part of the cerebrum and it is lies in this middle cranial fossa. So hope so you may understand the roof or the superior surface, it is forming a boundary between the middle ear cavity and the middle cranial fossa. Okay, so the middle cranial fossa is on the superior side of this middle ear cavity. Okay, and the temporal part of the cerebrum is here, present here. So it is forming a boundary between the middle ear cavity and the middle cranial fossa. In the children's, this tegmental wall, it is not completely formed and there is a gap in between. So the middle ear cavity is directly communicate with the middle cranial fossa and it is little bit dangerous. Means if there is any infection in the middle ear, so it can be pass out through the middle cranial fossa also. Okay, but by the time in the adults, this superior surface, it is completely formed by the squamous temporal bone and the gap in between is no more present. Okay, so this is a superior surface, it is known as a tegmental wall. The inferior surface, it is known as a jugular wall. Why it is known as a jugular wall? Because it is in close contact of the superior bulb of internal jugular vein. Internal jugular vein and it is a superior bulb. So it is in the close relation of superior bulb of internal jugular vein, and that's why this wall it is known as a jugular wall. On this jugular wall there is a one bony canal, and this is known, it is a posterior canaliculus, and it lodged with the one nerve, and this nerve, it is a tympanic branch of the ninth cranial nerve. Okay, the tympanic branch of ninth cranial nerve, it is passed out from this posterior caniculum and reach up to the medial wall of the medullary cavity. So this structure, it is a posterior canaliculus. Canaliculus means the canal, the posterior canal. Okay, and the nerve, it is a tympanic branch of ninth cranial nerve. Then is the anterior surface. So the anterior surface, on its most superior part, there is a one canal for tensor tympani muscle. Okay, the tensor tympani muscle, it is lies within this bony canal, and it is, the canal is opens on this anterior surface, and the tensor tympani muscle is comes out from this canal and runs on the medial surface, and here it turns around and reach the tendon of the tensor tympani muscle. It is reached up to the handle of the malleus bone. Okay, so this muscle, it is a tensor tympani muscle, and this canal, it is known as a canal for the tensor tympani muscle. Inferior to this canal, there is one other opening, and it is a opening of auditory tube. Opening of auditory tube. The auditory tube, as we have already seen, the auditory tube communicate the medullary cavity to the nasopharyngeal area. So this auditory tube, it is opens onto the anterior wall of the medullary cavity. Then inferior to the auditory tube, the wall of the anterior wall of the medullary cavity, it is forming the posterior boundary of the carotid canal. So what is the carotid canal? Carotid canal, it is a one bony canal which is lodged by the internal carotid artery. The internal carotid artery is present in this canal. Internal carotid artery is present in this canal, and this canal, it is known as the carotid canal. And this part of the anterior wall, it is forming the posterior boundary of this carotid canal. Okay, and that's why this wall, anterior wall, it is also known as carotid wall of the medullary cavity. Okay, now is posterior surface. So on the posterior surface, on its most superior part, there is a one opening, and this opening, it is known as a adytus, and this adytus, it is open on posterior side in the mastoid cavity, and this mastoid cavity, here there is a presence of mastoid air cells. Okay, so the adytus, it is a opening on the posterior surface, and it is opens into the auditory canal, the mastoid canal, and the mastoid air cell. Inferior to the adytus, there is a one small depressed area which is lodged by the incus bone. Okay, it is gives space to the incus bone. The incus bone, it is fit into this depression, and this is known as a fossa incudis. It is known as fossa incudis. inferior to this fossa iniquitis, at the junction of posterior and the medial surface, here is one pyramidal elevation. Here is one pyramidal elevation, and this pyramidal elevation, it is known as a pyramid. And this pyramid, it gives space to the tendon of stapedius muscle. The stapedius muscle, the tendon of stapedius muscle, it is reach up to the apex of this pyramid, and at the apex of this pyramid there is a opening and canal for the tendon of the stapedius muscle. Okay, then on the lateral aspect of the pyramid, there is a one bony canal, and this canal, it is known as a, it is not a posterior canaliculus, but it is a tympanic canaliculus. It is a tympanic canaliculus, and this canal, it is a posterior canaliculus. Okay, on the posterior surface there is a posterior canaliculus. So this posterior canaliculus, it is lodged with one nerve, and this nerve, it is a chorda tympanic nerve. Which nerve? The chorda tympanic nerve, or we can also say that canal for the chorda tympanic nerve, the posterior canaliculus. Okay, so these structures are present on the posterior surface. What are they? They are the adytus, the fossa iniquitis, then the pyramid, and the posterior canaliculus. Okay, now its medial surface. So on the medial surface there is one prominence elevation, and this prominent elevation, it is known as a promontory. It is known as a promontory. So what is this promontory actually? Actually this promontory is, it is a bulging of the first circle of the cochlea. Here you can see that the cochlea, it is bulging into this cavity, middle ear cavity, and this bulging of this cochlea, this is known as a promontory of the middle ear cavity. Okay, so the promontory, it provides space for formation of the tympanic plexus of the nerve. So the tympanic plexus of nerve, it is formed by the tympanic branch of the ninth cranial nerve. Here we have seen that in this tympanic canal there is a tympanic branch of the ninth cranial nerve, and it is opens here onto this middle ear cavity. So the tympanic branch of the ninth cranial nerve, and there are two other nerves also present, and these nerves are branch of the sympathetic plexus, which is around the carotid canal, which is around the carotid artery. So around this internal carotid artery, there is a sympathetic plexus, and from this sympathetic plexus two branches are reach up to this middle ear cavity through this anterior wall. On this anterior wall there are two openings for these nerves. Okay, so these are the superior and inferior, cortico-tympanic nerve. Which nerve? They are the superior and inferior cortico-tympanic nerves. So the superior and inferior cortico-tympanic nerves are also reach up to the promontory, and these all nerves are forming a nerve plexus, the tympanic plexus, which is responsible to innervate all of this middle ear cavity. All of this middle ear cavity, it is innervated by this tympanic plexus. So it is formed onto this promontory. On the posterior superior aspect of the promontory, there is a one oval opening. It is known as a oval window. This oval window, it is opens into the vestibule. Here is a vestibule. So this oval window, it is open into this vestibule, and it is closed by the footstep of the steps bone. Okay, the steps bone, it is look like, it is like that. So this foot plate of these steps, it is lodged into this oval window. Then on the posterior inferior aspect of the promontory, there is a one round opening, on it is known as a round window, and this round window, it is open on the internal side into the cochlea, and it is also closed by a secondary tympanic membrane or the secondary membrane. It is closed by the secondary membrane. Then on the posterior side of the promontory, there is a one sinus, and this sinus, it is due to the ampulla of the posterior semicircular canal. Okay, so here is a semicircular canal. So the semicircular canal are like that. So this part of the semicircular canal, it is known as the ampulla of the semicircular canal, and this ampulla, it is bulged into this middle ear cavity, and this bulging, it is known as a sinus. Okay, so this sinus is present here on the posterior side of the promontory. Then superior to the oval window, there is the prominence of facial canal. The facial canal, it is actually runs behind the middle ear cavity, and at this part, on its superior part of this medial wall, there is a prominence present for the facial canal. So it is a prominence of facial canal. Okay, then the lateral wall. So the lateral wall, here we cannot see on this view the lateral wall, okay, because we are actually standing on the lateral wall. So the lateral wall, here in this diagram you can see that the lateral wall, it is formed by this tympanic membrane. So if we draw the lateral wall is like that. Okay, in a central part there is a tympanic membrane, and this tympanic membrane, there is the presence of the malleolar folds, and the part in between this malleolar fold, it is known as a it is the flaccid part, and this rest area, it is known as a tensor tympani, and it is a pars flaccida. And opposite to this pars flaccida, the coda tympani now is pass out from this area. Okay, so the pars flaccida on its internal surface, it is in relation with the chorda tympanic nerve. The superior part of this middle ear cavity of this lateral surface, it is formed by the petrous temporal bone. Okay, because we have seen that in the middle ear cavity, we have divided it into the two parts. Okay, the tympanic part and the epitympanic part. So in this epitympanic part, there is not on its lateral surface presence of the tympanic membrane. So this area, it is formed by the petrous temporal bone. Okay, now the arteries of the middle ear cavity. So which artery are supplying to this middle ear cavity? So the middle ear cavity, it is mainly supplied by the tympanic branch of the internal carotid artery. So from this internal carotid artery, there is a one artery which is supplying to this middle ear cavity, and this artery, it is a tympanic branch of the internal carotid artery. Okay, it is a main artery of this middle ear cavity. But there are the superior, inferior, anterior and posterior tympanic arteries are also supplying. So these all arteries, let we discuss about the arteries. The anterior tympanic artery, then the posterior tympanic artery, then the superior tympanic artery, then the inferior tympanic artery. So the anterior tympanic artery, it is a branch of the maxillary artery. The posterior tympanic artery, it is a branch of the posterior auricular artery. Then the superior tympanic artery, it is a branch of the superior tympanic artery. It is a branch of the internal carotid artery. Then the inferior tympanic artery, it is a branch of the ascending pharyngeal artery. Then and some other arteries are also supplying the tympanic branch of the pterygoid artery. Then the pictus branch of middle meningeal artery. These arteries are also supplying to this middle ear cavity. Okay. Then the veins draining to this middle ear cavity, they are lastly drained into the superior petrosal sinus. Okay. Superior petrosal sinus, it is in the relation with the petrous temporal bone. Okay. So it is the all venous drainage is finally reached up to this superior petrosal sinus. Then which lymphatics are so the retropharyngeal lymph node, and the preauricular lymph nodes. The retropharyngeal lymph nodes and the preauricular lymph nodes are draining to this middle ear cavity. Let me discuss about its clinical anatomy. So the infection of the middle ear cavity, it is known as the otitis media. If there is a fracture of the superior wall or the tegmental wall of the middle ear cavity, so it will directly connect to the middle cranial fossa and the bleeding with the CSF. Okay, if there is a bleeding from the ear with the CSF, so we can assume that the tegmental wall of the middle ear cavity, it is ruptured or fractured. Okay, so the common cause for the bleeding from the ear, it is the fracture of the middle ear cavity. The infection, it is known as the otitis media, we have already discussed. The infection may also pass out to the mastoid canal and the mastoid air cells. Okay, and if the infection is present into this mastoid canal, so it is a main cause for the chronic pus formation into the from the ear. Okay, it is the main cause for the chronic pus formation into the ear. So it is very difficult to heal. So this is all about the middle ear cavity. Thank you very much.